Welcome back to Stack Hunters. Bradley Stalder, Jeremiah Retzlaff, Coach Retzlaff himself. That's right. The composer of the draft kit, the man behind all of this work. Like, it's been so beautiful to see behind the scenes of all of the work that you've had to organize to make the draft kit here on Player Profiler as successful as it's been so far. If you haven't checked out the draft kit, you need to check it out. Like, it's awesome. Jeremiah, thank you for being here on Stack Hunters.
Hey, thanks for having me, Bradley. And I'm just right across from an MVP of the draft kit. Check out Bradley's breakdown on JSN. The Green Bay Packers, the Houston Texans. When I edited what he had, I could have read it blindfold. That's how good it was. And it's just phenomenal content. So make sure you go and check out what Bradley's got going on. A whole host of Player Profiler staff who really grinded it out. And what was cool was just everybody did their little piece, but it got to a macro element where a lot pushed out. Over 80 people were involved in the entire project. So hats to everybody pushing their rock. Just like a football team, hey, you have your assignment to make the play work. Bradley Stalder, you did your assignment and assignments to make the play work and host a team. So collectively, we got the football across the plane. So hopefully we can get a draft across the plane, get some successful stacks here on Stack Hunters. What do you say?
Oh, it sounds great. In this analogy, though, Jeremiah, you are the quarterback. You are the Super Bowl champion winning quarterback who deserves the ring and the commercials. So there we go. We are excited for the draft kit dropping on Player Profiler. It has player rankings. It has the projections. It has the team reviews. It has everything you need to be successful. And Jeremiah and I are going to bring you some fancy advice tonight that's also going to make you successful. We're going to talk about some Bestball Value Rating. We're going to talk about players that over the course of the last few years have ebbed and flowed. Maybe there's been some consistency that we didn't realize. Maybe there is a player that surprises Jeremiah. All of this, though, in the context of drafting, because it's one thing to talk about players in theoretically, like pulling them up. But it's another thing to talk about what legitimate upside have these players over the course of seasons shown. And it's not floor. It's not floor, and it's not consistency. I don't really give two cruds about consistency, Jeremiah, and we shouldn't in a best ball scenario, right? We care about, can this player access 20-point games in half-point scoring? Can they get 25 points? Can they get 15 points if they're a tight end? Those are major questions. And if so, how often does it happen? That's what we want to ask. How often can these players get to the highest of thresholds to get us winning teams for our best ball? So, Jeremiah, we're going to hop into a puppy draft here in just a second. It's very exciting to be able to hop into Underdog. Just over a year ago, I was lamenting to Jeremiah, I was not able to get into Underdog Fantasy because I lived in Michigan. It's so tough. It's so tough.
And I learned that Michigan is actually East Coast time, because I remember it was supposed to release at 1:00 and you were thinking, okay, it's not here. And I said, oh, well, Bradley, I'm sure, you're on Central time. When it's 1:00 your time, I'm sure it'll come out. And sure enough, you're like, no, man, I've been on East Coast time. So who knew that Tim Allen, Tool Time, Home Improvement was on East Coast time this whole entire time?
East Coast time is the best time. I know that there's a lot of love for Central. West Coast is just the worst. I'm not sorry. There's no apologies here on Stack Hunters. Not sorry to Billy Muzio. He knows. It is the worst. East Coast is the best. The chat is blowing up right now, telling us yes, no. We've got some controversy about time zones, but what's not going to be controversial is us hopping into this puppy 2 right now. $5 entry. Underdog just consolidated to 20 seconds per pick. And one of the things, Jeremiah, I don't know how many of these you've done live, but it's definitely more difficult to draft 20 seconds live while you're hosting a podcast than the 30-second clocks. Have you felt that in the ones you've done live?
Well, it's funny you say that. I'm actually a slow draft king, and this will be good to hop into the streets. Currently, I have 70 plus slow drafts going. Don't you know? It's like that meme. You're probably wondering how I got here. I don't know really. It's just the sequence and the formation of how the tournaments have dropped. Of course, a giant puppy is really going to help me continue to keep those numbers up. But yeah, the 20-second draft, it's something else. But what you'll find is how often do you get to redraft season, and it's a minute and a half, a minute, and it feels like an eternity when you're going against other people who are redrafting, and you've been doing a couple hundred drafts, and you've got it down pat. I know pre-show we talked about Omarion Hampton, Underdog, RB15, a lot of speculation about Najee Harris and what's going on with him, with the fireworks incident, and we are reflexive and think about how high Omarion Hampton will be in the event of an absence for Najee Harris and he missed time. And think about your sleeper rankings, ESPN, Yahoo, wherever your redraft is when you're with your buddies, right? That could be several rounds down. Omarion Hampton still stunned at ADP. Here we are, just like Fast Draft, Underdog, great sharp ADP. And there we have it off the board, Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase, no surprise there. We talk about best ball value rating, players and where they've been. Jamar Chase going at the 101 in this draft, a 12.2 BBVR back in 2022, a 9.68 in 2023, but a 14.5, number 4 overall last year for Jamar Chase. And there's a lot of optimism for him to continue to bring the fantasy goodness in Cincinnati. We saw spike weeks. He was one of only 2 players with a top 5 week rate that exceeded 20%. So he's definitely a player that, is worthy of drafting at the 101 because of the massive amount of spike weeks. And we didn't see really much of a shift for Cincinnati this offseason. Yeah, they sprinkled in some defensive players, but Stewart hasn't even signed. Their first round pick hasn't even signed this offseason. So we are 1 pick away, and it's either Nakua, Neighbors, or Collins for me. One of those 3, Jeremiah. What's your pick?
I love Malik Neighbors. I took him 104 in an FFPC. Can't go wrong. Blindfold darts here. Nico, Nakua, Neighbors. Who do you have the least of?
I've been drafting a lot of Collins. Lot of Collins. And I think I have the least amount of Nakua because of my confidence in Devontae Adams still being good. Yep. So I don't think Nakua is worthy of being a first round pick right now. Maybe that's a call.
Does Achane come back to us?
Oh, I hope he does.
Okay, Achane or London. One of them comes back to us?
Yes. Let me put those in the queue. I prefer Achane and then London.
I think there's a lot more first round picks than there are selections, of course. By virtue of math, there's 12. I think you can make an argument about 15 or 17 guys being first round picks. There goes BTJ Amon-Ra at the turn. Good double tap.
Well, with Jonnu Smith gone and Darren Waller in tow in Miami, the contingency upside for Devon Achane is massive, and he goes off the board there at the 202. Yep. So it's Henry, London, AJ Brown, Ladd, McConkey right now.
I think I go London in order, then Henry. And it's funny, Achane, first in receiving yards, first in receptions for running backs. Now you're going to get more short area targets. There it is. I think it's a layup right there, Drake London. I think we possibly have Malik Neighbors and London, both dark horse candidates to be the wide receiver 1. If you go by virtue of Jamar Chase and the receiver 1 won't repeat just off of law of large numbers, 2 great candidates right there to finish wide receiver 1 overall.
Yeah, Drake London in 2022, only a 3.02 best ball value rating. In 2023, only a 4.09, but then makes the massive jump in 2024. And we saw Drake London have some big games with Michael Penix as well. So I think the confidence is rightly placed. New coaching staff. Well, the new coaching staff last year is coming back this year. So we have some confidence in organizational continuity. Drake London, very happy with that pick.
And there you see, it's funny enough, we had Lab McConkey in our queue. He goes 4 picks later. Love him this year, but we'll see how much they go in throw mode. They have, of course, Omarion Hampton. If we come back to the spot at 33 in the wraparound to 40, with this Omarion Hampton news tonight, or possibly the Najee Harris effect, how high do we think Omarion Hampton goes in this draft?
I mean, his ADP right now is running back 15, 45 overall. It's possible for him to come to us in the 4th round, but if we want him, I think we can click. And there's also running back. Underdog is one of those sites that is very sensitive to news because of the amount of volume that's played on it.
Yep.
So there might be we might see some Omarion Hampton mid-round 3. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him go off even before our 3rd round pick. Like, there's a pathway to see him, Kyren Williams, in the same tier.
Here's a question. Trey McBride may be there available for us. How is he on BBVR versus the upside that we might want to push and press for Hampton in the 3rd round pick?
So Trey McBride last year had a good season, a 6.56 best ball value rating. The previous year, he was at 3.42. So he's an ascending player and certainly someone that I am in on. This year, he's my tight end 1, and we are on the clock. Terry McLaurin, JSN, Breece Hall, Kyren Williams. Who do you want? We got 10 seconds.
Terry McLaurin.
Okay, we'll go Terry McLaurin. Woo!
And then that sets us up for
Hampton. If
Breece, or do you want
Breece Hall? I would still have Breece Hall ahead. We could go Jaden Daniels with the stack. We are here. We have to stay on brand, right?
Yes.
So Jaden Daniels added to the queue. I think Breece Hall added to the queue, and Omarion Hampton added to the queue.
And then no Trey McBride so far. If Trey McBride comes back to us, what's the WAR value rating there, getting him in the 4th round?
Trey McBride, I'm not seeing him. He went off in round 2.
Oh, sorry.
That is A-okay. The projections for Trey McBride this year have him at an 8.9 best ball value rating, in line with Drake London, Derrick Henry, Bucky Irving, Cortland Sutton.
Oh, there goes Jaden Daniels. Cool. That guy's going to go and they're going to get Deebo Samuel, Zach Ertz. That's A-okay. That's actually informs us, Bradley. Do we go Hampton? Do we pull the trigger here? Just a few spots ahead of ADP.
It's McMillan, Tet McMillan, DJ Moore, or Omarion Hampton.
I would say I feel really good about our 3 receivers to start.
Let's go Hampton. Let's go Hampton, baby.
Go ham. Go ham on Hampton.
You love to see it.
Yes.
You love to see it.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is we have Michael Penix, big Penix energy later for stack hunting. And maybe we'll pry later, where are you at Jackson Dart versus Russell Wilson to start the season.
Ooh. There's been some rumblings that Dart will start the season. I'm not as confident. The initial talk out of the draft was Dart's not even close. He's gonna sit the year. That's what many of the beat writers were putting. And I know that he had a good spring. I understand that there is organizational sponsorship with a 1st round pick, but he was a late 1st round pick. So if they really wanted to, they would have. I'm not confident that Jackson Dart starts right away.
It's wild because I really think the Giants are going to get to a point where they're middling and they're going to want to rely on Jackson Dart. And it's just wild that if it's for their survival, they ought to put him out there. But if it's for his development, Jackson Dart, I think the Giants need to let him sit for just a few games. But I think he's actually going to be viable at some point, which makes his ADP price and single QB palatable. I've been stuffing him a ton in the Superflex contest as a third high upside quarterback. Figure by the time the buys sort out, I'll have a Konami code upside quarterback in Jackson Dart.
Yeah, Dart is definitely he's a rushing quarterback. I wouldn't say in the same vein of your Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, but could he get close to a Josh Allen amount of rushing volume? Maybe not as effective as Josh Allen. Josh Allen's built like a buffalo.
Hey, what if he's just in a 400-yard territory?
We're happy with it. Right now we've got Hubbard, Ridley, Kamara,
a little bit better than Patrick Mahomes, maybe in a Bonix territory.
Joe Mixon, Roma Dunze. I feel like we go running back again. Hubbard, Kamara.
Kamara.
Yeah, Kamara.
I like that. Good pick. And then maybe a Dunze falls back to us. Who do you think? Who do you like on the fallback?
We could go Olave is there at 35.
Cool. Talk about late round stacks, the receivers that we have lining up as well.
Yeah, we don't have to. We can piecemeal our way to quarterback there. And the interesting thing about quarterback is, like, in this type of build, we probably want 3 quarterbacks, given the guys that we're going to be targeting late, like a Shuck or, a Michael Penix. Like, but we're taking a couple shots on.
Oh, there goes Roma Dunze. Close.
Oh, it is close.
So who's on the queue, Bradley?
Chris Olave, James Conner, Travion Henderson, Jordan Addison, Jerry Jeudy.
I like Addison. I like Jeudy a lot too. Are we disrespecting Jerry Jeudy?
I think the ADP is, but I still want to go Olave here.
Go Olave. Beautiful. And then you have 2 New Orleans players. And the beauty is with Kamara and Olave, the Saints are just an unsolved riddle at the moment. You could have Kamara traded. You could have Olave traded. That whole entire money laundering operation that they have going on in New Orleans could entirely blow up. And it's funny because you have Olave, Kamara, Shaheed within the first 10 rounds. And then by virtue, somebody's going to have to benefit quarterback-wise. Offensively, there seems to be conviction because here we are in round 5 and 6. You have Kamara and Olave. So there's got to be some kind of goodness there for the Saints, as much as they're a crummy team, right?
Right.
It's kind of like with the Raiders, even though the Raiders win.
Ooh, I don't even think they're in the same tier, Coach.
Oh, no, but I'm saying how people feel about the Raiders. They don't see the Raiders as a significant contender. But my God, look, you have Janty and Bowers so high up in ADP. They're second round picks in some formats in FFPC. They might.
Jacoby Myers could go around right here.
Yes. So you're talking about the amount of, don't discount teams necessarily because you think they'll be bad. There's a lot of toothpaste to squeeze out of the tube for some of these quote unquote inferior teams.
So Alvin Kamara toothpaste squeeze is the title of this podcast. All right.
That is sexual, man. I love
it. I'm writing it down. Nick, if you're watching this, Alvin Kamara toothpaste squeeze.
Hey, how do we feel about Caleb Johnson in this range as our third running back?
I think he's going to get the volume, the between the tackles volume, the Najee Harris. I know that I was listening to Dwayne McFarland because I really respect his opinion on things, and he said that Jaylen Warren could handle the load as the RB1. We could be surprised by a little bit more of what volume he could handle, and I know that he could theoretically, but not long term. So I'm skeptical that if the Steelers go that way, that Warren would last. Khalil Shakir, Stephon Diggs, Tony Pollard, Downs, Jones, Mooney.
We could go Diggs and
Mooney.
get May later, or Downs and Daniels later, or Jones.
Let's go Diggs and then maybe Mooney on the way back.
Beautiful. And then that sets up Penix and, of course, Drake May. I've been drafting a ton of Drake May. Where are you at on Drake May? I feel like Drake May is going to be in the Joe Burrow tier of quarterback this time next year for fantasy.
He will be in the Joe Burrow quarterback tier next year because the New England Patriots are going to get a wide receiver by this time next year that's going to elevate him. I don't think that this is the year that he gets there. I think he's going to more Ryan Tannehill this thing in 2025. He's going to be like quarterback 8, 10, 12 every week. And then he's going to finish like quarterback 7 to 10. And you're not going to feel any upside. And we got sniped on Mooney.
All right. Which direction do you like?
We get sniped on Daniels. We get sniped on Mooney.
You want to get
Caleb? Don't see him. Aaron Jones, Brian Robinson, Egbuka.
Egbuka, click him, please. Egbuka.
All right, we're gonna go with Emeka Egbuka.
Oh, this is beautiful, man. Okay, let's calibrate here. We have 6 filthy wide receivers, especially our 3 up top. A little more risk in Olave, but that's just concussion. It's not actual skill. Stephon Diggs, if he's recovered and we get Drake May, I love that Konami code upside for Drake May in 4-point format here. And Egbuka, there's going to be availability if we do on the wraparound. With Tristan Wirfs' injury, we could have Baker Mayfield fall to us. And I love that stack. I've heard about Theo Greminger talking about Emeka Egbuka kind of doing a little bit of what BTJ did last year. Same draft range, about a round cheaper as Emeka Egbuka than BTJ last year. So yeah, when you said Emeka Egbuka, instant click, man.
Baker Mayfield did go off the board though, so he is not available.
Just before us.
Yeah,
that's okay. We live to fight another day. We've got Drake May, and of course we have the backdoor of Penix and how we feel about maybe Jackson Dart later. No problem.
No problem. Or is Tyler Shuck the New Orleans guy?
I mean, I also, if you want to lose weight, I guess you could throw up from that too. Like that's pretty tough, man.
Yeah, maybe it could just be more fun with Jackson Dart.
We want to play for upside. Who do you like here? 4 picks out.
Well, looking here, not at quarterback, we are looking at Higgins, Tracy, Trey Harris, Mark Andrews, Shaheed, Evan Ingram, Cam Scatabo. You know, I like Cam Scatabo. There's been a lot of chatter about by the time we get to October, he's the RB1 in New York.
And that's another piece of the Giants. And as you're trying to scaffold and layer just points, Cam Scatabo could be that guy along with Hampton and Kamara, who really carry the mail. But there's some underlying weeks. Not everything can be high 20 to 30 point upside every single week. Sometimes you just need that consistency. So I'm right there with you. Part of that is just layering your rooms and your skill sets. And the beauty is we don't have to predict when we start Cam Scatabo. And this is a difference. If you're out on Cam Scatabo in a 12-team league redraft, we face off Bradley. You don't start him, and he goes off on your bench. I win because I faced you.
Right.
If I'm in a best ball room with you and you have him, those points get posted against me, and by virtue, the entire rest of the board. So that's just
we are 3 picks away. Sorry, Coach. We're 3 picks away.
Yeah.
Trey Harris, Evan Ingram. We don't have a tight end right now. Najee Harris is still there. Luther Burden, but we're not gonna handcuff. J.K. Dobbins, Ramondre Stevenson, David Njoku.
Oh man, Evan Ingram just went, so I would have wanted to take him. Do you want to go J.K. Dobbins and push against
Dobbins or Njoku? Those are the 2.
Oh, go Njoku. I love Njoku this year.
All right,
and we'll have plenty of.
He's my tight end 3 in projections this year.
Talk dirty to me. He's my tight end 3. He was a bold take for me. I love that, man. Would have had 148 target pace last year.
Oh,
8.8 targets a game, played 11 games last year, plays a full 17 games. David Njoku, the ceiling is the roof. Yeah, I love that. And structurally, when we saw J.K. Dobbins, I like J.K. Dobbins, but how we're scaffolding our team, I think it's worth a stab at getting Njoku to take some pressure off. I don't think you or I want to go towards a conundrum. Put it this way, I'd rather Shuck than any of the 4 whack-a-mole QBs at Cleveland. Would you agree?
oh yes. Yeah. No, because the prospects that any of those quarterbacks become zero is 75%. We know who the starter is going to be in New Orleans. It's going to be Tyler Shuck. I know that there's been some Spencer Rattler truthers who've been trying to take over the X timeline, but that's not the case. It's going to be Tyler Shuck for 2025. This might be one of those Davis Mills situations where you just hold on for 1 year.
Hey, and also thinking about late round tight end, Theo Johnson, Juwan Johnson,
Oh,
2 players with the Giants and the Saints that we could scaffold late. If we want to hold anchor Njoku here, we can keep stuffing our team with running backs and receivers and pluck along where we want our quarterbacks.
Drake May. Are you kidding me?
That does suck. Does that person have anybody tied? Although there's back end, you could get Kyle Williams.
Well, Kyle Williams is right here at 130 overall. And,
well, we don't need to be spiteful. We can still grow from this. And
yeah, literally, he takes a stacked Jared Goff, which is cool, and then an unstacked Drake May. So, like, what is this guy doing?
Hey, that's why we do portfolio, because if we're in this situation again, we come away with Drake May. Very tough, but we continue and carry on. Who do you like in this spot in the queue?
Well, Justin Herbert is the highest quarterback, but there's Javonte Williams, Tucker Kraft, Kyle Williams, Bashal Tootin. We've got 10 seconds.
I'd go Tootin, or if you think you can backdoor stack Herbert, by all means.
No. Okay. All those guys have gone off. We'll go Tootin.
Yeah, the only guy you can backdoor stack would be somebody like a Rondé Gadsden. Have you done any of that?
No, I haven't. I've only drafted Gadsden in like dynasty leagues. We could take a Trevor Lawrence on the way back around.
I like that. A little bit of that correlation for the passing game.
Oh, nope.
Okay, that's fine. People are listening, right? So who's on the queue now?
It's Kyle Williams, Colson Loveland, Ray Davis, Dalton Kincaid, Michael Penix may not make it back to us.
Want to cap the stack and then
let's get Penix.
Yeah, I like that. Big Penix energy.
Woo woo. We're here for that, and that takes the pressure off.
Greatly. Big time.
Ed says Mike Williams, Tyler Conklin late, guys. I mean, I don't mind the late Tyler Conklin, but Mike Williams, here's something. It was only like 2 days ago that Mike Williams receiving betting lines were removed from some of the markets. So he may not make the team.
Hey, Trey Harris is going to be who we wanted Mike Williams to be.
Oof. Ooh. Snaps, coach.
Yes, sir.
We love to hear.
Ray Davis would have been a great pick there as well, but you got to go with the big Penix energy, and we have plenty of high upside cuff backs along the way. That's the beauty. If you go outside of running back after you get a couple, you feel like you can just continually push running back down the board. So
yeah,
in other drafts, you're clicking Davis.
Options.
Yeah.
Right now, we're looking at Colson Loveland, Dalton Kincaid, Trey Benson, Dallas Goedert. Lots of tight ends. Goddard, Jonnu Smith. Jake Ferguson just went off. Let's look and see here. That's not a lot in the way of, goodness. Pat Bryant for Denver. That might be an interesting selection. There's been a lot of positive buzz about Pat Bryant. Are you believing the Michael Thomas comp, coach?
I believe in Marvin Mims, before. I'll believe in that. And I don't think, talking about toothpaste back in the tube, how can you put the toothpaste back in the tube after what we saw Marvin Mims do against the Bengals that Saturday night?
That was so
Vividness
fun.
bias. Can we get some vividness bias for some Marvin Mims in year 3?
Look, I was so in on Marvin Mims going into his rookie year, and then I got torched. I drafted a lot of Mims at that 1-2 turn in Dynasty because there was really a teardrop if you think back to 2 years ago at that 1-2 turn, and it was not good. Cedric Tillman is here, Jaden Blue, Tyler Algier. Oh, Tillman goes off. Josh Palmer. Any of those guys?
I'm a little bit more towards Algier in that instance.
Well, let's go Algier. I love me some Tyler Algier.
It's funny enough, I would have kind of talked to you about Bryce Young prior to him going, because a backdoor stack with Jalen Coker would have been lovely. Jatavion Sanders would have been another viable option there. What do you think on the wraparound coming up in round 14? What do you think about who's up here?
Man, we talked about so many guys and we kept getting sniped on them.
Wandale.
Hunter Henry.
Do you like him on stacked from Drake May?
Correlated with Stephon Diggs.
Hey, beautiful. I'll take it.
And that firms up our tight end room. I don't think we need 3 tight ends if we got Njoku and Henry.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Yeah, go for Henry. And we believe in Njoku to be that top tier tight end, safety blanket in Hunter Henry. And we have maybe the first read in the offense in many instances when Drake May panics. Safety blanket for Hunter Henry. And then, of course, the 1A in Stephon Diggs. So not bad to have pieces of an ascending offense.
We should have gone with Kyle Pitts, but
yeah, it's funny. I've learned that sometimes when you're building and you have enough requisite stack share, that continuing further, sometimes it's better to go for the player who has better value. Now, here's a question. Sure. BBVR, best ball value rating, Bradley, Hunter Henry or Kyle Pitts? Do you have that? Any kind of comparison?
So
that could guide us from our bias.
Pitts, these are the last 3 years of best ball value rating for Kyle Pitts. 1.19, 0.77, 2.09. Okay, so 2.1 is his max.
Yeah,
for each of the last 3 years. Hunter Henry, 0.62, 2.66, and 1.61. So Henry has out BBVR'd Kyle Pitts each of the last 2 seasons.
There we go. So we're guided by the rock moving in the direction we have to go versus the sexy correlation, the dopamine inducing, like the light in A Bug's Life where we're going to get zapped by Kyle Pitts. We went in the more prodigal direction with Hunter Henry. I like that.
And then to look at my projection, so Hunter Henry this year, I project for a 2.1 best ball value rating, and Pitts, Kyle Pitts, because its search is Steelers. Kyle Pitts at a 2.2. So very close.
But then again, it's projecting forward and we just don't know, right?
So we said Kyle Pitts was 2.2. Henry was a 2.1. So pretty much identical in there. I mean, you're haggling over touchdown variance. Right now we have Jalen Wright, Zach Ertz, Jalen Knoll, Alec Pierce, Will Shipley, Chubb, De'Ami Brown, Darren Waller.
I would go Alec Pierce, and then you have backdoor stackability with Daniel Jones.
Ooh, yeah, we do need to target a later.
I think that's the move. It gives us an out later. Yes, good. And that, talk about layering receiver rooms. Alec Pierce is what, our 7th receiver?
Yes, and right now we have a 1-5-7-2 build.
The perfect guy to pop the 3 or 4 weeks, and you don't have to predict it. Who do
Oh.
we have up here?
So we're looking at Shipley, Chubb, Dante Thornton, Calvin Austin, Darius Slayton. 5 seconds.
Who do you want?
Thornton.
Go. Hey, 4-3 speed. Oh, you went Daniel Jones?
No,
Oh, he was in your queue, maybe?
He was in the queue, and then Dante Thornton went right after. Gosh darn it.
I don't mind. It's just a different ripple. You throw a rock in the pond, and it's
round
ripple.
16 out of 18, and we did need that quarterback spot. So, and I think we also should go Jackson Dart here with our third quarterback, unless you feel very strongly about Shuck.
I would go towards Dart. See if we can push Dart to round 18, and then will Rashard Smith fall to us in round 17? I'd be very happy with him.
Yes. So let's look at the running backs here. Shipley, Chubb, Hill, Lloyd, Sampson, Brashard Smith.
Yeah, Lloyd or Sampson, or sorry, Lloyd or Brashard Smith would be. Oh, there goes Marshawn Lloyd. So the board is making the decision for us. Cool. How many running backs do we have?
We have 5.
Cool. Yeah, we could park the bus with one more running back who's high upside. There goes Theo Johnson. Pour some out. But we love our tight end room, so no worries there. But
we're not getting crushed. We're not getting crushed on any bye week either, so there's a lot of balance.
Yep. Hey, that's fine. The board reads for us. How do you feel about Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt?
He's too buried on the depth chart. I still think Austin Eckler gets involved.
Okay.
Pretty significantly. I think the only reason Eckler didn't play. Oh, we got sniped on Dart there. Okay.
Hey, somebody heard us. They know the good word. Are you okay with parking the bus with these two in Penix and Jones, or is that just too disgusting?
It feels like it's not enough.
Yeah, you're right.
We probably should go Shuck.
Yeah, if we had some Konami goodness boosted with Penix, absolutely. And when we don't have any Seattle, another quarterback that I'll look at is like Jalen Milroe.
Yeah,
if he takes over, but that would be Elijah Arroyo as a backdoor stack. But what do you like here?
Let's go. I'll take Shuck here, and then we can figure out who
That's
we want.
Fine. Best available player at the skill position.
Right.
Not bad at all. Who do you think is coming up? Who do you like in the next
I want to get a little bit of exposure to Deontay Johnson if you're not against it there, coach.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny, ironically, I'm high on Elijah Moore this year. The reports are good. And Deontay Johnson, there's just some wins. Cleveland, they got plenty of wind out there. Some wins about Deontay Johnson having that slot role. Yep. Ironically, we could see Deontay Johnson and Elijah Moore recover their careers, ironically, from swapping places.
Isn't that crazy? And Elijah Moore quietly had over 100 targets last year. There is room in this Cleveland Browns offense for a Deontay Johnson. And we've got correlated David Njoku.
Yep. Yeah, I like that a lot.
The quarterback room is piecemeal. Don't feel great about that. But we also know that Daniel Jones has top 12 weekly quarterback upside. Michael Penix could surprise us. Tyler Shuck is like our fallback stack.
Here's a question, Bradley. Tell me on what scale I need to be drug tested or not. Daniel Jones, comeback player of the year in 2025. What do you think?
Coming back from what?
A failure? I mean, wasn't that part? Like, just you just been objectively. He had that injury that kept him out, and he just got relegated to the clipboard. I would feel there's been some players who like qualify for comeback player of the year.
I mean, maybe. I don't know if Indianapolis is an organization that's set up to allow for players to do something like that. I think the reason why it fit with Sam Darnold last year, like his play came back, if he ever had it at any time beforehand. But the reason why he came back was because the organizational environment in Minnesota was 10 out of 10. He had the coach, he had the offense, he had everything go right. And still occasionally he would implode because he's just not that good. So
I guess what I'll do is I'll pee in a cup and hope for the best.
Hopefully you're not arrested there, coach. We need you. And it's been great drafting with you. This was a lot of fun. For the people at home, we ended up taking Michael Penix, Daniel Jones, Tyler Shuck at quarterback, Marion Hampton, Alvin Kamara, Cam Scatabo, Bashal Tootin, and Tyler Algier at running back, Malik Neighbors, Drake London, Terry McLaurin, Chris Olave, Stephon Diggs, and Mika Egbuka, Alec Pierce, Deontay Johnson at wide receiver, and David Njoku, Hunter Henry at tight end. It is an unusual 3-5-8-2 build. Coach, give us a grade. How would you grade this live draft?
Okay, what's crazy is some of the just most slapdick teams end up doing very well. How often does it happen? You post the sexiest roster that you have, or you title it too. You even put a good description on, like, oh man, I got this epic 3 running back start, or I've got this stack, and you've got it lined up, kind of showcase, like you kind of check it a little bit more throughout the season. And then you just have that scattered team that's just kind of there. In those teams, the ugly teams like that somehow go furthest for you, and you almost can't stare at the team and see why they advance. But best ball value rating helps guide us. Advanced rate players who are just heavyweights. And if we pick around some players, Bashal Tootin for us in round 11 could absolutely be somebody versus the field that gets us where we want to be. Deontay Johnson, if he hits like crazy, just even 5 to 6 weeks from that round 18 price point, that can help get us there. And then, of course, if what I will pee in a cup for, Daniel Jones has an epic top 12 run and is there towards the end of the season, and he connects with Alec Pierce, the home run is there. Then, of course, we're buying into early informs late. Drake London early got us Michael Penix later. We saw the Bryce Young, Michael Penix shootout in the final week there of the NFL season. That would just be chef's kiss to see NFC South. And then even we have the New Orleans share with Kamara and Olave. We got a lot of good savvy upside in this team. And then we got Marion Hampton in round 4. So who knows what's going to happen, what clarity we'll get on the Najee Harris front. How do you feel? I mean, I'll say it's a B, because it's not like, oh my God, this team. But at the same time, when I look at it scaffolded from top to bottom, we've really built it well.
This is one of those teams that you don't post this one on the Twitter.
No.
You don't. There's not a lot of impressive stacks. We got sniped at a few spots on Jane Daniels, 2 spots. We wanted Darnell Mooney, Drake May. Yep. There was Trevor Lawrence we were chatting about, and it just didn't happen. So like there were players that we wanted, and we even structured ourselves. Like Terry McLaurin was one that, wow, where did that come from? So, looking at these, it's like a come from behind B. Like it's not one of those Bs where, it has some really shiny pieces and then it falls off. Like it's a well-constructed team, and it's gonna withstand the season. There's not like,
look at the first 8 rounds. It's a filthy team, like incredible players. And then the back half, you can tell like this. You have to be delusional, but you have to tell a story. You can tell stories chirping all the way down the board. These first 8 rounds are just disgustingly good. Like Emeka Ibuka could actually break things too as well. He could
Yeah.
be another leverage player. It's one of those where you start looking at it more and you're like, man, this is really really good. And then if you tell more of the delusional story, because it's a shredder that we're trying to get through. Cam Scatterbo gets that touchdown equity share for the New York Giants. If Malik Neighbors falls at the 1, Cam Scatterbo bangs it
Boom.
in from the 1. Yep.
Yeah, and there's the later wide receivers have pathways to spike weeks. It's possible. And I think Daniel Jones is going to be the starter, and he's undervalued going off in round 16. So yeah, this is one of those. Yeah, we're not going to post it on the X timeline, but
Yep.
it is one that we feel good about. We feel good about.
And I think that's important to like discuss because so much is like that click, that dopamine inducing start that people see, or a squad where you're like, oh my God, that's the most beautiful team. But how many times have we seen juggernaut teams in your experience, my experience? It's week 15, 16, 17. You should win, and they've fallen. So yeah, the nuance to what goes on, it's different in the best ball game because in a redraft, Tyler Algier is on the bench plenty, but anytime he posts spike weeks, we have him on our squad versus the other 11.
I mean, the Bijan contingency puts like if Bijan were to tear his ACL before week 1, like we're talking about a player who probably goes
Round 5?
Round 5. Yeah, I'm looking at like James Cook, Kenneth Walker.
Chuba Joe Mixon area?
Yeah, the Chuba Joe Mixon. I still would probably take Kamara over him, but that's round 5. I could see him creep to the end of round 4, but like a pretty solid round 5 guy. Yeah.
There you have it. And that's arbitrage.
All right, we've got a question in the chat. Mr. Grapefruit asks, how often are you guys starting out with 3 running backs by round 5? I find you can really hit the wide receiver room hard and ignore initial quarterback waves and find quarterbacks that line up with your elite running backs or the wide receiver you take in the mid rounds. So in this like start 3 wide receiver format, yeah, we're hammering a lot of wide receivers early, and partly to just keep pace with the market too. Like you can come into a draft with the strategy of, oh, I really do want to target running backs maybe in this draft a little bit more. But typically how Underdog goes, you're looking at the wide receiver quickly evaporating. We're talking by the time we get to starting round 5, you have to make like if you don't have a wide receiver through the first 4 rounds, your wide receiver 1 is going to be something like Zay Flowers, George Pickens, Calvin Ridley.
Yep.
And the massive tier loss from those wide receivers going off the board as the guy you need to be starting every week, because that's your wide receiver 1. You look at like players like Jamar Chase, T. Higgins last year. We talk about best ball value rating. This is why it's very helpful to talk about like what do these guys bring to the table. Jamar Chase was at least a flex play for you 77% of the time. Nico Collins was a flex play for you only 61% of the games he played. Justin Jefferson, a first-round wide receiver, was only a flex play 68.8% of the time. That means that 31% of the time, he was not even a flex play for you. So even the most elite of the elites, Jackson Smith and Jigba had a breakout season last year, coach. He was only a flex play 39.8% of the time. So like you lose, like JSN's going in round 3 this year.
Well,
Devonta Smith,
part of that is
42%.
we're trying to extrapolate the second half of JSN, because that first half it was just dog water. One note, there's a way to navigate and dig. It's not, I wouldn't say it's suboptimal, but it's contrarian. Let's just put it that way.
Sure.
I've got to start out there where it's Gibbs, Achan, Brees Hall. Insane, right? I got another one that's like Janty, Achan, Brees Hall. Common theme, Brees Hall's there in round 3 if you go RB. And I like to do that challenge of, hey, let's navigate and dig the shovel out of, can you recover at receiver? Some recovery receivers to go rounds 4 through 7. In round 7 to get as your 4th receiver, I love guys like Emeka Ibuka,
Yes.
Josh Downs. Can you get them at the 7-8 turn? We saw Ibuka and Downs both go in round 8.
Yes.
Those are receivers there. Somebody else we got, Stephon Diggs. But you're in that scenario where you're starting with Jameson Williams as your first receiver. And it's maybe Jalen Waddle or Calvin Ridley as your second receiver. You can patch it together. Juwan Jennings, you can tell yourself a story of these guys can end up being the one on their teams. But when you draft right now, Jameson Williams is not the number 1 on his team. Jalen Waddle is not the number 1 on his team. Juwan Jennings, it's George Kittle, really. So Josh Downs, even. All these players, Emeka Ibuka, all of them have in common that they can be the one. They just aren't necessarily the exact one right now. So if you're comfortable with being uncomfortable in that scenario, I would encourage just a divergent percentage build of some teams like that. So hopefully that answers the first 5 rounds. I kind of look at it as a hyper RB start to their question, and hopefully that's how help navigate getting out.
Good deal. Well, Coach, it's been an absolute pleasure drafting with you here on StackHunters. Give us the goods. Tell the people where to follow you. Tell us about the things that you're doing here at Player Profiler and other places.
Oh, yeah. Coach Retzlaff1 on X, DD Fantasy Football, Best Ball Night School. Bradley Stalder got me started, myself and Ed DeLauder. Shout out to Ed. And we're now at DD Fantasy Football. That's where Best Ball Night School started. And then on FSAN Network with plenty of guys who have worked at Player Profiler or still work at Player Profiler, the Dynasty Pulse. And then, of course, here, there's so much going on here. I've got the crossover on Profiler now on Monday nights. Trade Gods with Chev. Shout out to Chev. Much love to you.
Love Chev.
Yep. And it's just a great, we got all the news blurbs. I just put that blurb out about Najee Harris. There's a lot going on at Player Profiler. We have that draft kit, which we've been pushing out. We've got in-season content right around the corner. You really can't go wrong. So just get here to Player Profiler. I appreciate any follow. And the people, anytime somebody stops and listens or watches a show that I'm in, it really just sits with me big, because that is your time. It's so valuable to you. So that it's entertaining. We're passionate about it. It's just a huge honor and humbling every time if somebody's wandering around in the woods listening to their podcast like I do, at the gym, in their car, or they're sitting at home in the luxury and leisure of their living room when you have a million options in the world. Thank you for tuning in.
Yes, thank you for tuning in here at StackHunters. Bradley Stalder, Jeremiah Retzlaff. Until next time, good luck in the best ball streets, everybody.